Illinois and the city of Chicago are filing a lawsuit against the Trump administration over deployments of National Guard troops. Joining us now to comment, White House Deputy Chief of Staff for Policy, Stephen Miller. My question was whether the administration still plans to abide by that judge's order restricting any National Guard troops from being sent to Oregon.
Well, the administration will abide by the ruling insofar as it affects the covered parties. But there are also many other options the president has to deploy federal resources and assets out of the U.S. military to Portland. But I was making the point that under federal law, Section Title 10 of the U.S. Code, the president has the authority anytime he believes federal resources are insufficient to federalize the National Guard to carry out a mission necessary for public safety. So it's important to understand that in Portland, ICE officers have been subjected to over 100 nights of terrorist assault, doxing, murder threats.
I do think that this is going to lose its usefulness in the same way that like anti-Semitism lost its usefulness, right? Because it was deployed so unevenly and with such great frequency. Whenever someone was like, hey man, I think what Israel's doing is like pretty fucked up, they'd be like, you anti-Semite. Yeah, after maybe the first 10 times, people started going, what do you mean? You say that all the time. You say that to everything. And it's like, if you're going to apply terrorism and doxing charges to, for example, a person demanding that an ICE agent reveal their identity, like where an apprehension, another kidnapping is happening, and someone, a civilian that is a witness to this incident goes, hey, what's your badge number? And you go, wow, that's doxing. That's a prosecutable act. You keep doing that, people are going to go, you say that about everything, big dog. Fuck you mean this is doxing and this is a violent act? The fuck? No, it's called demanding proper identification from a public servant that is unaccountable, that has tremendous amounts of power over regular citizens.
Violent attack and every other means imaginable to try to overturn the results of the last election through violence. The most important point I want to make today is that the number 1 and 2 items in the GOP platform in 2024 were to turn back the border invasion and carry out the largest deportation program in American history. Since Inauguration Day, there's been an orchestrated campaign of terrorism and violence against ICE officers. Of course, we saw the recent sniper attack against ICE officers. They're publishing their families' photos online. They're threatening them with murder. They're threatening them with death. And they're physically attacking them in the street each and every day. And yet, shamefully, the mayor and governor in Portland and Oregon have refused to render aid, leaving ICE officers to street fight every single night against these terrorists.
You make the claim of terrorist assaults and violence attack over 100 nights, and yet the judge overseeing this case says that that's untethered from reality. And local officials on the ground say that Trump's assertion of what's happening is in Portland, that it's war-ravaged and burning to the ground, is far from true. I looked at the police data, and police have made something like 70 total arrests since June. And there are no reports of buildings being burned to the ground. The White House cited a guillotine being rolled out as like a public display of rebellion, but there isn't actually a threat that these demonstrators are going to overthrow the government. Are you concerned that that response weakens your legal argument?
No, they are actually, as we speak, trying to overthrow the core law enforcement function of the federal government. Boris, this is, I think, where we're talking past each other. When ICE officers have to street battle against Antifa, hand-to-hand combat every night to come and go from their building, when they try to exit in a vehicle, when they are swarmed and surrounded and they try to tip the vehicle over, when people bring weapons to an ICE facility to try to engage in direct violent assault against ICE officers, what is the purpose? It is to prevent Immigration and Customs Enforcement from carrying out the mission the American people elected them to do.
You make the case that these are terrorists, but in what we've seen thus far, the actual incidents of people inciting violence and not responding to law enforcement attempting to disperse them are not an open rebellion. I mean, again, you make this characterization as though they're terrorists, and I do wonder if it is.
That's awesome. That's awesome that even the CNN host, I mean, he's one of the better ones for sure. But even he's just like, dude, you call everybody a terrorist. I don't think this is terrorism at all. Are people now the equivalent of Antifa like Palestinians or Hamas? Yes. There is a severe crisis in the Israelification of American society. It's almost like it's looping back around. Israel was very America coded, and now we are becoming more Israel coded. Because, I mean, Israel is accelerated in its fascist endeavor. It's more advanced in its fascism than America is as it stands currently.
Potentially a problem in the future for Republicans. If a Democratic president someday calls the National Guard to a red state over what they see as open rebellion, but is what amounts to a demonstration that gets rowdy. I mean, is that not a fear
and they're
of
posting
yours?
pictures of their kids because it's a demonstration, and they have a sniper on top of a building firing a high-caliber rifle at a nice facility because it's a demonstration. And
yeah. Listen, little bro, there's a difference between those things, okay, and what the average person is doing. No matter how hard you try to fucking lump it all together, it's not working.
they're engaging in vehicle ramming
But the
attacks,
National Guard isn't
coordinated
being
ramming
sent to
attacks
Texas.
because it's a
The National Guard
demonstration.
isn't being sent to Dallas where that sniper was.
Because the Dallas Police Department and the governor of Texas, well, you walked right into that one, have responded.
Oh, wow, you have activated my trap card. He also comes across like such a whiny fucking loser.
To every call for assistance and help. They gave a stand-down order in Chicago, and they gave a stand-down order in Portland. Do you realize that there's 11,000 federal law enforcement officers in Oregon? That's larger than the size of the FBI. Local and state police are resourced to deal with this kind of riotous assembly, but they have refused. They've been given a stand-down order. So
they've
we
arrested
need
some
to use
70
National
people
Guard and
since
federal
June.
troops
They've been
to
arresting
fill in
folks
that
on the
breach.
ground. They've been arresting folks on the ground. They refute what you're saying outright.
We literally have the 911 audio of the stand-down order in Chicago, and we have documented inside of DHS every single unresponded to 911 call over the recent weeks and months.
Do you have...
Damn. Local police incompetence is harming ICE. That's awesome. Also, I heard some other stuff about this. Apparently, ICE was making like fake calls as well. Like making calls that were ridiculous to 911 themselves.
Evidence that this campaign is coordinated? Are you planning charges on anyone who is actually coordinating said campaign?
Yes. So since the Joint Terrorism Task Force has gotten involved.
Yeah, here, this is why it's so funny. ICE has been making phony calls to 911 and filling false police reports in Chicago in a deliberate scheme to antagonize local law enforcement. Any of us would get arrested for this.
You are watching as Broadview police respond to a 911 call, claiming someone was tampering with a gate at the ICE detention facility there. Body camera footage obtained by the CBS News Chicago investigators shows...
They're so bad, dude. That's illegal. That's literally illegal. That is, I guess, add that on to numerous other illegal things that ICE is doing. That is awesome.
Several Broadview police officers respond to an alleged homeland security threat. The gate in question is where ICE takes detained immigrants for processing.
What's up, guys?
Hey, what's up?
Not much.
How are you?
Good. We got a call of subjects trying to climb over the fence or something.
No, not since we've been here.
But when police arrive, all they find is two people and a camera. Our CBS photographer filming the exterior of the building with a CBS security guard by his side.
Okay, you guys didn't tamper with any of the...
No, man. The 911 call claiming someone was tampering with the gate came from an ICE agent. According to this incident report, an ICE agent called police for help.
But he can't go and try to force his way into that.
Yeah. I guess they're just doing the same. They're doing the same shit that they've always done. We're just like, oh, excuse me. There's a nuisance. 911, I'm annoyed and scared. Come here right now, please.
Okay, so the guy in the
He
booth.
just says
No,
that
the
he
guy
was
in
just
the
recording.
camera.
Do you believe that that was a false call?
I do.
Again, it was just our CBS photographer filming the exterior of the building.
In your mind, bogus.
Yes. It's disturbing. It's ridiculous.
That's
Broadview
awesome.
Police Chief Thomas Mills says this is just one of several questionable 911 calls his police department has received from ICE at this facility recently. This same detention center has become the site of at least 3 other incidents involving federal agents who are accused of hitting people with cars, shooting projectiles, and using chemical agents on journalists, including a CBS reporter last Sunday.
Oh, fuck yeah, dude. Amazing. It's funny that they've antagonized 2 groups that under normal circumstances would absolutely be on board. Okay? Local law enforcement and local news. These guys are, in most circumstances, totally on board with like police brutality and things of that nature. They will do decent coverage every now and then, but the ICE is so fucking annoying and such a disruptive force that they have lost local news and local law enforcement in the process. Amazing. That is amazing. I never thought I would see the fucking day. Anyway, that obviously hasn't stopped Stephen Miller from crying about local law enforcement not following every little fake call that ICE is making.
We found that there are common funding, that there is common financing, that there are
For
meeting
your-
points, that
for
it's
what you're
carefully
describing as
orchestrated,
actual
it is carefully
terrorism.
integrated. Yes.
And you are
This
going
is-
to charge.
They're making posts on Instagram that hurt the feelings of our fat agents. They're calling them fat. Okay. This is fat shaming. They're demonstrating fat phobia. They're not abiding by standpoint theory. ICE is a protected group. It's very disappointing. And I keep calling the cops every time. I keep calling them. I say, 911. They say, 911, what's your emergency? I say, they're doing body fascism. They're doing body fascism. They're calling my big, beautiful agents fat. Can you please arrest them? And then the cops hang up. I hate that. I hate that. Why are the cops hanging up? You're supposed to stop every nuisance. What are these guys getting paid for?
This is
someone
the-
with terrorism.
Well, so I would like to. The
I bet you would
Congress
like to,
needs
but that
stri-
I would like to. He said, I bet you would like to. Oh, that's awesome. Yes. Why can't I call them terrorists? Why can't I? I think they're terrorizing me. They keep saying my wife is fucking Elon Musk. That is terrorizing. That's a terroristic threat. Okay? And if my wife were to fuck Elon Musk in a hypothetical scenario, I would be in the room sitting on the cuck chair. Okay? And if that's my kink, you should stop kink shaming me. That's terrorism.
doesn't
the
mean you're
laws-
going to, are you?
No. What I'm saying to you is the Congress has statutes on seditious conspiracy, on insurrection, on impeding federal law enforcement. The domestic terrorism statute in Congress obviously needs to be strengthened. For domestic terrorism in Congress, we have foreign terrorism charges. We have an entire patchwork of federal law.
Like that, what he's saying right there is so terrifying because the First Amendment has made it so that we do not have the same vague standard of terrorism applied at the domestic level. Now, there are issues with that for sure, especially when you have like when you have the Klan wreaking havoc and there's been no active way to disassemble militia movements such as that one. But of course, this administration is trying to change that in the opposite direction, not going after like active groups that are causing a significant amount of harm, okay? But instead They're going after decentralized movements of people expressing discontent towards this administration, basically making the Klan the federal law enforcement apparatus. Incredible stuff. But once again, the First Amendment actually stops this kind of domestic terrorism designation from actually happening, because it is seen as any sort of formation that is anti-capitalist or anti-fascist, even if it was a organized unit. That in and of itself is First Amendment protected. Individuals that engage in criminal behavior beyond that can be prosecuted to the full extent of the law, but you can't just like actively decide that anti-fascism is actually a terrorist organization, and whoever we call anti-fascists, we have now declared a member of a terrorist organization, and go after them.
To the extent that there are charges that apply, we will charge them in every single case. You have impeding law enforcement, you have seditious conspiracy, you have a conspiracy to deprive of rights, you have assault against law enforcement officers, but all of this meets the hallmark, textbook definitions of domestic terrorism. Boris, I just want you, just for a moment, to step back and think about what we're talking about here.
Oh my God, this is so Israel. Not much amazes me anymore about the modern GOP, but Back to Blue went out the window stunningly fast after the feds built their own goon squads accountable only to them. Those cops aren't cops, they're Antifa with badges. Look at them. Yeah, cops are Hamas. Benjamin Netanyahu is Hamas. The IDF is Hamas. It's the same. That is the same energy. It's the exact same energy. So fucking stupid.
President Trump ran and won a campaign on turning back the border invasion.
You've said
you
that
have the mayor
several
of
times,
Chicago.
Stephen. We have a limited amount of time, so let me ask you. Let me ask you about the governor of Illinois.
Let me ask you about the governor of Illinois. He declared a no-go zone for ICE.
We are set to hear
How is that
from
not insurrection?
Stephen, we're set to hear from J.B. Pritzker in just moments. He says that you're attempting to inflame tensions and create a war zone. He also says that you are profiling, that you're targeting black and brown people, even those who turn out to be here legally. What's your response?
Well, first of all, the black people in Chicago are thrilled that we're getting the illegal aliens out of their communities who are stealing their housing, jobs, and resources. You've seen the video of the town halls during the Biden administration where black citizens who are natives of Chicago were begging to have the illegals taken out of their country. What they've done is they've created a system of law.
Yeah, black people love the administration. They love having their cities, their neighborhoods terrorized by even less accountable, even more militarized law enforcement, under the suspicion that they are, because of their blackness, that they might be a Haitian migrant. Okay, that's definitely what they were demanding. The black communities were like, please, we want helicopter raids now. Not enough that the Chicago Police Department was beating the fuck out of our neighbors. It's just we want more.
In Chicago, in Illinois, where illegal aliens have far more rights than American citizens. If an American citizen, for example, commits a crime of sexual predation against a child, they'll cooperate with the FBI. If an illegal alien commits a crime of sexual predation against a child, that illegal alien will be shielded in an ICE no-go zone.
What are you talking about? This is so stupid. I can't believe they're still making this idiotic argument, dude. Yeah, definitely. When a Guatemalan migrant does something heinous like that, basically they get away with it scot-free because the cops are like, we're woke. Yeah, the only migrants that engage in sexual predation on U.S. soil that get away scot-free are migrants from Israel. Okay, if you want to talk about an active threat to children, the only time I've seen that shit happen is when you got like a Israeli cybersecurity guy who just openly tells law enforcement, like, hey, by the way, I know you guys caught me in a sting operation trying to fuck a child, okay? But I'm Israeli, and I'm actually going to be leaving for Israel very soon. Please let me go. Not the first time such an incident has taken place, by the way.
I ask you the question, what is the right term to describe a local official declaring a no-go zone for ICE? Would you tolerate it for FBI, ATF, DEA? No, you would not. But there's an effort to delegitimize the core function of the federal government of enforcing our immigration laws.
No. I think the delegitimization of the core function of federal law enforcement is not coming from people like myself. This is the same idiotic argument that, like, Kamala Harris dead enders actually advanced against people like myself, saying, like, oh, it's your fault that she lost. It's like, no, it's your actions, dumbass. It's your actions, Stephen Miller. It's your lack of interest in demonstrating any sort of competence or decency, and instead using ICE as your own personal Gestapo to undermine the rule of law and to create chaos in blue cities and in blue states and pack up whoever the fuck you want to and engage in mass targeted kidnappings, engaging in dragnets. That is what's unironically making people lose confidence in federal law enforcement. No amount of leftist or liberal commentary is going to actually change that dynamic, especially in the absence of the Democrat leadership pushing this narrative. It's like very obvious that this is homegrown. People's discontent is born out of what they are seeing unfold in broad daylight in front of their eyes. They see an administration behaving in this erratic manner, and they get upset. They go, no, I saw the guy that you actually fucking kidnapped. I know that that person has a family. That's my neighbor. That's a contributor to this neighborhood. That's a part of our community. And you're just treating him like he's nothing. You're treating him like he is a rapist, bloodthirsty serial beheader or some shit. That's unacceptable. And then they get mad.
Our sovereignty. It is domestic terrorism, it is insurrection, and no amount of insane hyperventilating lies from Pritzker or Johnson or any other Democratic official will change our minds on that. ICE officers should not have to live in fear and violence to do their jobs. Period. So
on the substance of the question, is it the case that, as Pritzker frames it, you are profiling brown people, that this immigration crackdown is designed to go after people of color?
It's such a, oh, what a dumb question.
What a dumb question. Bro, I think Stephen Miller should be on camera more often. I've realized, like, he is such a fucking evil little nerd. I'm realizing that any moment in the spotlight for Stephen Miller is another moment where this administration is going to erode confidence. What a dumb question. Like, you look like a 90s villain. Back when in the 90s, like, all the villains were nerdy, that's what he looks like. That's what he sounds like.
The illegal aliens who are here are taking jobs away from blacks. They're taking jobs away from whites. They're taking jobs away from Latinos. They're taking their health benefits away. They're taking their school slots away. And of course, in many cases, they're committing heinous crimes. We cannot have a system of law in this country that privileges illegal aliens over American citizens. And that's what they're doing. You know it, and I know it.
So That's not exactly a no, Stephen. Can you just unequivocally
I just
state
said, well,
that
I think
the
I said
immigration
it's a dumb
policy?
question. Okay.
Well, I appreciate
no,
that, but
and it's a dumb question.
So no, this policy is not
I
designed.
thought when I said it was a dumb question, it meant no.
Well, I just want to be clear and precise. I appreciate you trying to qualify my questions, but nevertheless,
No.
I think it's a fair one that a lot of people have.
My full answer is no. That is a lie, and it's a dumb question. But you said something else, baked into the premise of one of your questions. You said, well, aren't we provoking? Illinois governor says we're provoking actions that are unlawful. Why would the mere presence, just think about this for a second. If I put federal law enforcement and National Guard into a nice, sleepy southern town, is anyone going to riot? Is anyone going to try to shoot them in the face?
If,
Are they going
if someone
try to
goes
attack them in
into
the
a
street?
building
They would say
full
this
of
is-
people in the
they
middle
would
of the
say this is
night
great.
covering their
This is
faces without
amazing. Thank you for the
identification, without
resources.
identifying themselves, there might be concern among the community, especially if
about
American
the trained
citizens
Iraqua
are
raid?
being, especially if American citizens are caught up in that, which
we
some reportedly
we
were.
netted over 30 foreign terrorists who are members of trained
And American
Iraqua,
citizens
who,
also
by the
wound up
way,
apprehended in
they
that.
They torture women and children. Those American citizens are now safe from trained Iraqua. You know, there was a case recently in Washington State.
But isn't
where
that
trained
enough
Iraqua
reason for some
took a
people to
power
demonstrate
drill.
and say that they disagree with that
They
policy?
took a power drill.
Isn't it
So
enough
is it, in
for
your
some
opinion,
people?
Well, by the way. It's
Hey, Stephen,
first of all, let me finish the story.
we
TVA took a power drill and
you're
drilled
gonna-
a
you're
hole
gonna-
through a woman's hand.
Understood.
Through
Stephen,
her hand.
we have to leave the conversation there because we're short on time, but nevertheless, we do appreciate you making the time for us and coming on CNN and sharing your point of view.
Always.
Those National Guard troops are.
Oh my God, that was awesome. I didn't realize that things like that happened on CNN still. Oh my God. Oh my God. He is so fucking unlikable, dude. It's like the argument that he is presenting requires him to be somewhat likable, at least to like a percentage of the base, you know? But because he has no charisma whatsoever, like he's worse than Donald Trump for sure. Yeah, we watched this. Yeah, but I think I was pissing while this part happened.
Blocking the deployment of National Guard in Oregon, legal insurrection. Does the administration still plan to abide by that ruling?
Well, the administration filed an appeal this morning with the Ninth Circuit. I would note the administration won an identical case in the Ninth Circuit just a few months ago with respect to the federalizing of the California National Guard. Under Title 10 of the U.S. Code, the president has plenary authority.
Stephen? Stephen? Hey, Stephen, can you hear me?
Oh my God.
Stephen, I apologize. It seems like we're having a technical issue. We'll try to fix that and
Oh
get
my
back to you
God.
after a quick break. Stay with CNN.
Oh my God. Did he stroke out? What the fuck? They're resetting the code. Yeah. I hate when the server update happens when you're like mid game, you know what I mean? That's what took place, I think. It seems like he got hit. He got hit with a server update. Like they had to put it into safe mode. Per president per